Hey friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie, and today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite polishes inspired by June's birthstones. You may be most familiar with pearl, which is the traditional birthstone for June, and I do have quite a lot of those, even though I know when it comes to nail polishes, pearls can definitely be very divisive. But if you aren't really a fan of pearls, I do also have a couple of picks for their more modern birthstones, which are Alexandrite and Moonstone. So let me just show you the swatches. So let's rip off the band-aid by starting with my most pearly pearl, Sylph by Cirque colors. This is basically a traditional white pearl polish, which yes, means it's a little brushstrokey, but for some reason, I actually think it's not that bad. Granted, my first coat might have looked a little rough since I had some fuzzies on my nail, and this finish isn't really forgiving of any imperfections, so you want to make sure that your base is super smooth, but 2 coats gives you this really elegant look. Next up I have Cirque's Mother of Pearl, which is actually a magnetic. So I'm starting by showing this in the cat eye effect, but I actually much prefer this unmagnetized or velvetized, which of course I will be showing a little bit later. I think the taupey base in this does look similar to the shadow colors of pearls, so it is still satisfying in that way, but as you can see, this is just way more sheer in its base, so you'll get some visible nail line even after 3 coats. It does look striking, but again, I do think I prefer this with the velvet effect or just unmagnetized because it just gives this really soft pearly look. Speaking of soft pearl finishes, the next few shades are some of my favorite pearlescent shimmers from Cracked. I went with some neutrals for a little variety. Most pearls we see are white or creamy, but they can also come in these shades of beige along with other colors that we'll see soon. Pearls are often associated with traits like modesty, purity, and of course, elegance. They hold a lot of importance across various cultures. In ancient Greece, they were apparently thought to be the tears of the gods, while in China, some believed pearls would offer protection from fire and also bring good luck. Even the oldest record of pearls were found in the writings of a Chinese historian dating back to 2206 BC. I think today, though, they're mostly viewed as timeless and classic, especially in jewelry, often associated with weddings and brides. But they are incredibly delicate, so they should be handled with care to avoid scratching its smooth surface. But back to the polish, as you saw, I had swatched Cinnamon Sugar Crumb, which I would describe as like a warm, sandy beige sort of color, and here I have Baker's Dozen, which came out more recently, just a few months ago, which is kind of like a very pale pink color, but of course I did also want to share a more true pink pearl, so I had to also include Cracked Polish's Pink Velvet. It's just a little bit darker, a little bit warmer than the previous shade. The last shade I think could work so beautifully as like a bridal color, assuming you like pearl finishes, but as I mentioned, I feel like these pearlescent kind of shimmers from Cracked are just so beautiful. Like, they're very soft, they're not as brushstrokey as Sylph, for example, so they just have this really stunning kind of silky or just pearl luster. Lastly, I wanted to include some darker options for black pearls or Tahitian pearls, and what better polish than to share Cirque Colors Tahitian Pearl. Unfortunately though, this one was retired I think sometime last year, which is such a shame because it is so beautiful. Even though it is sheer, it's this really dark charcoal gray base that's absolutely packed with this pearlescent shifty shimmer that goes from purpley pink head on to green and yellow in extreme lights. It really captures the color complexity of a lot of Tahitian pearls, so it's just so satisfying how accurate this is. And similar to Sylph, this one does have a little bit more of a brushstrokey kind of formula, but I think the end result is still worth it. A lot of Tahitian or black pearls are actually a lot more charcoal and gray. It's really rare to come across a pure black pearl, but I still wanted to include a shade to honor those specifically, so I went with OPI's Cave the Way. Longtime viewers of my channel know this is like one of my staple shades in my collection. It's a beautifully pigmented black pearlescent polish that I just think is so cool. I don't think this one is terribly brushstrokey either, so it's a little bit more similar to the cracked polishes, but it still has a really beautiful luster. Finally, moving on from the pearls, I wanted to share a few shades that I think work so beautifully for Alexandrite. Alexandrite is a very rare stone for its color changing capabilities. It was first discovered in 1830 in Russia, but has also been found in Sri Lanka, East Africa, and Brazil. The colors can shift from red or purple under incandescent lighting to blue or green in daylight. I've mainly seen the blue, purple, green color ranges, which made me immediately think of ILNP's Deep Space. I had started with the cat eye effect since rare Alexandrite can also be found that way, but I feel like it highlighted the black base a little too much, so I tried this new technique that combines both the cat eye and velvet styles, but I feel like mine didn't turn out the way I expected it to. It did give a really cool S pattern though. Next up I have Fauve Nouveau, which is another magnetic, similar in color combination to the last shade, but this has purple and green microflakies and a deeper sort of indigo base color. The magnetic shimmer in this one is also more of a fuchsia purple, so I wanted to first apply this unmagnetized since the shimmers and microflakes just work so beautifully together, but I did end up also trying the velvet effect too for a little bit more dimension, which I think looks really cool, separating the purple shimmer from the blue-green. Since Alexandrite is known for its changing colors, it's a reminder that life is full of changes and that things aren't always what they seem. Even though, as I mentioned, a cat eye works so well for Alexandrite, I think maybe the better finish would be something like a UV polish that changes color whether you're inside or outside in the sun, but I just don't have anything like that in my collection. I do really love how bold these colors are in Fauve and ILNP, but I did also want to include Holo Taco's Midnight Owl, which is just a glitter bomb type of polish in a very dark indigo base, but this does have iridescent flakies that I feel like flash to blue and green, so even though there's no like color changing or super multi-dimensional aspect to it, it's just that glitzy traditional birthstone kind of polish that I think is still so beautiful. And finally, the last birthstone for June is Moonstone, so of course I had to feature Cirque's Mystic Moonstone, which is a sheer white pearlescent base filled with a glowy cobalt blue shimmer. There's also a dainty hollow sparkle in this too, similar to the finish of Tahitian pearl. Moonstones are often known for being a talisman of the journey inward. They illuminate what we're trying to seek. It's a stone of introspection, mental clarity, and even dream work, helping aid children to be rid of nightmares. Moonstones are so mesmerizing with the stunning blue flash they have. This Cirque was so perfect for it, but I did also want to include Mooncat's Ghost of Hecate, which is another sheer, ghostly white that reveals this strong blue glow. The goddess Hecate is associated with the night, magic, and you guessed it, the moon. So this just felt especially fitting, even if color-wise it's very similar to the last shade. I would argue the blue glow in this one is much stronger. Moonstones can come in some other colors as well, like peach or yellow or even rainbow moonstone, all of which are really cool, but I feel like I just don't have polishes that would really match those colors the way that I do with the white or traditional blue one. So that wraps up my best polishes inspired by June's birthstones. As always, I would love to know what you think of my picks, especially if you're a June baby. Also, let me know if you even like your birthstone, whether it is the traditional pearl or if you're more of a fan of the more modern birthstones. I definitely think pearls are so beautiful. They're just so like timeless and elegant, but I can also understand how it might not be the most exciting when it comes to a birthstone. And admittedly, I think I do kind of like the more modern ones a little bit more, but I still really love a beautiful pearl. And again, when it comes to nail polishes, pearl finishes are just so divisive, where I think the majority of people really hate them, which to a degree is kind of warranted because they don't have the smoothest finish. They usually are very like brush strokey, but I do think there are some absolutely beautiful pearly or like semi-pearlescent shades out there. So I again really wanted to highlight those. So either way, make sure to let me know your thoughts down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!